What is up, self-maders, and welcome to another Freelancer Friday, where we take real questions from those of you out there trying to be a freelance, a web designer, or heck, just about life in general, and we answer them. We try to give you our best information that we've got from doing it ourselves, from figuring out on our own and making a lot of mistakes. This week we have Evan, and Evan is a recent college graduate. He actually got a degree in computer science, but now he's having second thoughts about if he actually wants to pursue that as a career. He's wondering if UX design is a better route for him. And while he's wondering, he's also having a hard time staying motivated to learn and to build a portfolio. It's a really good conversation, and I think that you're going to benefit from it. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Well, Evan, tell me a little bit about yourself and just kind of where you're at on your web design journey.
Technically, I'm not really sure if I wanna do like web development for my career yet, but I just want some knowledge. So I graduated college with like a Bachelor of Art in Computer Science.
Okay.
And so I graduated last December.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to get into like the UX design industry. I think that's what I'm still like, because I want to be more on the design
side of it all.
Design, yeah.
So you've got your degree in computer science, but now you're kind of thinking maybe you want to go the design route. So tell me some of the reasoning behind that.
For me, I think like the reason is that I think like for computer science, like the main like there's a lot of people that go to like software engineer, like software design. Like there's a lot of coding.
Yeah.
And for me, like as I grow older, I think I like to like have something like interact with like customer more, or like more on the talkative or like creative side, rather than just coding. That's why I wanna react design. But I do like, I don't think I like to code too much, and I don't think I'm too good at it.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is, and a lot of people would argue with me about this, is that you don't necessarily have to pick one or the other. I had somebody on the podcast, his name is Jesse Showalter, who's actually pretty proficient at both design and development. And so, it might be something where you can kind of keep both things open. But really, the only way to know for sure whether or not you're going to like design, to make a decision on whether or not you want to go the design route, is to actually just pick up some projects and start doing them. And they could be pretend projects where you take, let's say you take the Spotify app and you remake it, right? Like that's kind of a popular one. Or you take somebody's website and you redesign it and just kind of see if you like going that route. Have you tried that before?
Like do some project with
just tried out some designs.
Yeah, I've tried to create a portfolio for myself.
Okay.
Like using like some of the tools like Figma or like Adobe XD, some of the tools that to create like that.
Got it. Yeah. So are you at the place where you're kind of still debating whether or not you want to go in design, or are you at the place where you're like, no, I want to go the design route. I just need to know what the next steps are?
I think I'm still debating.
Okay.
Because I'm not really sure yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think like because I think I do like motivation too. For some reason, like I've been constantly doing like bootcamp or something. I already got a degree, but I don't know, like, because I think my portfolio doesn't look really good too. Like I don't spend a lot of time, I think, doing projects.
Sure.
So it doesn't look really good. So that's why I probably haven't gotten hired or something. It's been like maybe 7 months since I graduated. But now I just have a part now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, what kind of stuff motivates you? What do you feel like would be the tipping point to kind of set a fire underneath you to get going?
I think like I tend to be a little bit on the extrovert side too. So
sure.
I kind of like need someone to be there with me for something to motivate me.
Got it.
Like sometimes I spend too much time by myself doing stuff, and I get a little boring.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, then, based on that, my suggestion would be to just find a community to become a
Yeah,
part of, that will give you some focused work time to work on those things. And that's maybe reaching out to some of the folks that you went to school with computer science and
yeah,
saying, hey, would you mind if we met up, let's say, an hour a day or so, and just like kept each other accountable to work on a project. So,
yeah,
or whatever. Another thing that you can do is actually set up like what we're doing right now is just a Zoom call to where you say, okay, when we're on the Zoom call, we're going to be working on whatever we, promise to be working on. So we're not going to be going off and doing a game or whatever. I'm going to be working on design and you're going to be working on whatever. And they don't have to be designers, they could just be anybody else. There's a really cool application, and I'm just going to look it up.
mm,
But it's essentially that idea where you sit across from somebody, and it's a stranger essentially, but essentially you're saying like, okay, I'm devoting myself to be working on this, and I've done it before. It actually creates kind of this accountability of like, even though there's nothing to it, it's not like the person's going to take $20 from me if I don't work on the stuff that
yeah,
I said I was going to work on. So that's one element of it, to kind of do that. Another part of that is the way that I motivated myself was I went out and got projects before I knew what I was doing. So, and I told people, that I was working with, like, I don't have a lot of experience with this, right? But I'll give you a good deal, or I'll do it for a trade, or whatever. And so then when somebody was depending on me to get something done, I felt that pressure, because sometimes we need to feel a little pressure,
yeah,
to kind of keep us motivated, to keep us going. Another thing to
yeah,
think about is, if you're really having to motivate yourself, then you might just question whether or not you really even want to be doing design, and that's okay if you don't want to. Like, if it's not computer science, or if it's not web design, there's something out there, so, like, for instance, if you find yourself just spending a ton of time gaming, you might need to consider going into game design or game development, to where the thing that you're excited about, you're actually working on. Does that make sense?
yeah. It makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
totally.
Okay. Okay. Well, what else? How else can I help you?
Oh, I was thinking like I don't think because like I'm not rich, so
Yeah.
like I'll think of doing boot camp, but I think like you have to pay for it, pay for the
Sure.
boot camp.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like a necessary road to go. I guess because
Yeah.
I'm still not sure. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I
like
don't. I
what?
don't think it is. And I've known plenty of people who have gone through boot camps, and it was great for them. And I know plenty of people, myself being one, who, I was in the same situation. I didn't have the money or the time to put into a boot camp, and so I learned by Googling, right? And there are a lot of folks out there who do. So boot
Yeah,
camps can be a great thing, but you have to look at your situation. Is your situation where you have
yeah,
enough money to do them? Is it actually going to help you? All of those questions. And like, I just had a friend who he came, like, I know him personally. He came and was like, hey, I'm looking to get into web design. But it turns out his company would pay for any kind of extracurricular education that he would do. And I was like, well, if that's the case, man, you should just do a boot camp. And so it's not like boot camps are never the right decision. But for your scenario where you've already done schooling, right? And we already know that
yeah,
you put a lot of money, you invested a lot in computer science degree, right? And then you came out of it and you said, I don't want to do this anymore. So who's to say that doesn't happen with a design boot camp? Like, so before you
understand. Yeah,
before you put more money into something else, I would say just see if you can make it work without having to invest any other kind of monetary value in it. And if
yeah,
you can, and if you come out of it and you're like, I really love this and I'm super motivated, and you find yourself in coming into some money, then that might be a season where you go, okay, I really want to get some more skills. But I don't necessarily think that's the best idea for you right now.
I have to make sure if I like it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only way to make sure you like it is by actually taking on some projects and actually working in it and seeing like, is this something I want to be doing for, the next 5 years? And that's another thing that I'd encourage you. Like you especially when you come out of college, there's a lot of pressure to say, what am I going to be doing for the rest of my life? Right. And that's not really a good way to think about it, because the job that you have, you might only have it for 5 years, right? But that's still a decent amount of time. And so it's not like you're committing to being a UX designer until you die, like you could do it for 5 years. And then 5 years from now, you could say, I want to be whatever. I want to be a real estate investor. And then you learn how to do real estate, so you don't have to feel the pressure of like, man, I've got to know exactly what I want to do. And I know that a lot of colleges will put that pressure on you, and it's just not reality.
And I also feel like, because as time goes on, like the degree I have is it be less valuable. I'm not sure, like, because that's why I want to pursue something. But
sure,
I think it's okay. Some time break. You understand my point? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think, computer science for sure, I think is going to have a long lifespan. But I think you're right in thinking that you never want to depend upon your degree for job security. You always want to be looking at what's going on in the market. Where do my skills align with those things that are being that are in demand in the market? Where can I add to my skills to make myself more valuable? Like that's a good thought to have, but I, for sure, especially fresh out of college, depending on what type of computer science degree that you have, I think there's probably a good lifespan to that. Staying motivated is one of those things that a lot of people have tried to hack. There's the folks who are like, make yourself small, bite-sized little goals, or set timers for 15 minutes and just work in 15-minute increments. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself a question. If I'm having to force myself to be motivated, do I really want to be doing this? So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is that with everything that you enjoy doing, there's a little bit of it that you just don't like doing. It's the 80-20 principle, right? Like you really like 80% of it, but then there's that 20% that you really just hate having to get through. So don't let that 20% keep you back from doing something that you really love and really enjoy and could make a really big impact on your life. Well, I hope you enjoyed this Freelancer Friday. If you want to sign up for a call, there is a place for you to do that on selfmadewebdesigner.com. Scroll all the way down and there is a link to my calendar. You'll see it. It's a big red little headline with a beautiful little button that you can click on there. But hope you have a good week. We will see you next Wednesday. And don't forget, if you don't quit, you win.